So hello all and welcome to It I, the realist philosopher, also known as the bachelor philosopher, because if you're a bachelor, you're a realist, and if you're a realist as a man, you're going to be a bachelor. So how y'all doing today? Hope you're all doing good, fine, and well. So in this video, I wanted to review Turkey Tom's side of the story. So if you've been following me, if you watch my channel, you know that I have reviewed quite a bit of the Turkey Tom allegations, both Sacramento 89's postings on Kiwi Farms, as well as her allegations to the goofball Joshua Moon that runs Kiwi Farms badly and interviewed her and some other broad that also dated Turkey Tom badly. And, I was very skeptical of their claims because, they just seemed to me more like jilted exes than anything else, lashing out because Tom didn't give them what they wanted. But there could have been some truth to it. Generally speaking, these kind of things land somewhere in the middle in regards to allegations from both sides. But we hadn't heard from Tom at that point, and I was very clear in saying I'd love to hear his side. Well, now we're going to hear his side. So let's hear what, and by the way, Tom, if you're watching, shave your face, young man. You are a child. You do not have the testosterone levels. You do not have the facial hair coverage. You do not have the masculine frame or genetics to grow a beard, let alone a mustache. I mean, look at this pathetic coverage. This is the best he can do. It looks absurd. Just shave it off. You look ridiculous. Anyway, let's get into it.
I'm sorry that this response took so long. I wanted to make sure I had all the facts together before saying anything. Recently,
could be you were just cooking up a good counter story. Needed time to think up answers to the things they brought up.
I've been accused by an ex-girlfriend, along with an ex-partner, of non-consensually filming sexual encounters, being so rough and inconsiderate during sexual encounters that it bordered on assault, encouraging eating disorders, being into age play, along with a litany of other completely baseless, false accusations. The two women who are accusing me, Sacramento 89, real name Rowan, and Left 4 Dead, real name Katie, took to gossip forum Kiwi Farms to post the accusations, along with carefully cherry-picked screenshots to back up their claims. These claims aren't super difficult to debunk, just because of the overwhelming amount of evidence I have on my side. So without further ado, let's start with Sacramento or Rowan. This is a girl I dated for about 7 months, from May of 2025 until January 10th of 2026. 4 days later, she made her first post. Here, she alleges that I am a real freak and like to, quote, record sexual encounters without asking for consent. This is blatantly untrue. I have never recorded any sexual encounter without explicit consent. As a matter of
So you have recorded sexual encounters. Gotcha.
fact, with Rowan, she was the one who initiated the idea of filming sex acts in the first place. On Tuesday, August 19th, after 3 months of knowing each other and being sexually active, Rowan texted me saying, "You should get those meta glasses when you crack me." I responded by saying, "For what?" And she answers again, "Cracking time," alluding to me filming her with the glasses onboard camera. Now, at the time, I did not feed into this. I did not show enthusiasm. I didn't even agree to get the glasses. I just responded and said, "Good night, sweet dreams." So 1 whole week goes by without us talking about it whatsoever, and then on August 25th, Rowan texts me saying, "You should get those meta things for real." So I respond by saying, "I think I'm going to avoid filming anything involving sex for a while," showing that I am clearly not the person interested in filming our sexual encounters.
Not necessarily. Gonna avoid filming anything involving sex for a while. So that implies that you were recording sex prior, or that you had. You just lost interest, didn't want to. Given recent events, I'm paranoid. But before that, you obviously had interest in that. So you're saying you didn't. Looks like you might be the one cherry picking screenshots of DMs now.
She is. As you can see in the text, even when I say I don't want to film us having sex, she pushes the issue. Now, to be clear, we did eventually take videos of ourselves being intimate, but I was given explicit consent every single time. And on a few occasions, she even took the phone out of my hand and was holding it while filming us. To be clear, there was never a tripod or a hidden camera. It was always handheld, and in every single video, she was clearly aware of the camera, making eye contact with the camera lens. Also, on September 8th, Rowan texts me, "I do miss it though," in regards to our sexual interactions. She follows it up by saying, "Send the videos." Keep in mind, these are videos that she claims in present day were taken without her consent. She then goes on to say, and I quote, I will watch them and keep them close to my heart, clearly indicating she has no problem whatsoever with them existing. I'm an extremely
But did you give them to her? Did she lie when she said she asked you for them and you wouldn't send them to her? Doesn't sound like you sent them.
paranoid person when it comes to my personal life and my
I believe that.
sex life and my dating life. As a public figure, I just like to keep my private life private. So
I think this guy has a very high opinion of himself. You're no Destiny. You're not a public figure. When was the last time you appeared on Pierce Morgan? Give me a break.
I was very hesitant to send Rowan any sexual videos we had taken. However, I did send her one single still image from one of the videos where my face is obscured. I guess there was some lingering thought in the back of my mind that if her accounts were not locked down super well, and if she had been hacked, then
So she wasn't lying. This is just a he said, she said in many ways.
the videos could have been made public. Now, there's an implication she makes a few different times that I'm basically blackmailing her with these videos.
Somebody asked if you had any intention of getting any sort of like law enforcement involved, but I feel like you answered this where you just want to try to compel him to delete whatever he has on you, and that's like like the extent of your interest.
Yeah. And if he doesn't, I don't know. I'm kind of confused about what to do, but we'll see.
At no point anywhere did Rowan provide any proof of me threatening to release these videos of us having sex, or threatening to send them anywhere, so she has no reason to believe that I would ever release them. The idea that I, a person who makes a living as a public figure, would publicly release videos of me fucking my ex-girlfriend to get back at her is so insane. Not only would that incur reputational harm beyond belief, but also serious legal consequences. The only person who has ever sent an image of us having sex to anyone is, ironically, Rowan. Days after I broke up with her, she, without my consent, sent the only image she has of us having sex to the owner of Kiwi Farms. Here, listen to him describe it.
Oh, and one other thing, I forgot about this, but you actually, Sacramento had sent me a picture that was like censored. Apparently the only picture that he would send you is one where his face isn't clearly visible in it, but you can,
Yes.
I can tell the desk, like his computer is moved onto the table, but I can.
What is it with these bras that want attention and validation? So, what she said that she was afraid he would do, she actually did. That takes a big swing and a hit on her credibility, claiming that she's somehow the victim.
Can still see like the monster is like on the cozy that's like on the table, like in the exact same position. So I can tell that's clearly his desk.
I guess I just find it ironic that someone who's accusing me of blackmailing her with her nudes literally sent a picture of us having sex to a man that she has never met. Now,
Well, no, I don't think that she said that. I think she said that she was afraid that they could be used for that purpose. I don't think she actually directly said that you had threatened to blackmail her, though.
Josh recounts seeing this image and talks about how hard it looked like I was grabbing Rowan on the mouth, essentially using it as evidence to support another claim she makes that I'm too rough during sex, which I find very interesting because after I sent Rowan this photo, she texted me saying, "I like when you cover my mouth like that." Again, she texts me asking me to send her the videos, and she says, "Yeah, whenever you're not locked in, send the videos. It will fix me for about a week. Goon sesh." This is clear evidence that she has no problem with these videos existing. To this day, she has provided zero proof that the videos were recorded non-consensually, or that I was blackmailing her with them, or that I had any intention of sending them to anyone. Reason being,
Yeah, I mean, it's a he said, she said, which is, by the way, probably why you shouldn't record these kind of things in the first place.
I never did any of those things. In Rowan's interview, she claims that I never asked for consent to film these sex acts, and says that she wouldn't notice I was filming until 30 seconds to 1 minute into it.
I'm not sure of an exact date, but maybe
That is sus. That's sus.
like 2 or 3 months into our relationship, he never asked me. He would just pull out his phone and record, and I wouldn't notice until maybe 30 seconds in a minute or a minute into it.
Now, I obviously can't and would never show these videos to anyone, but in them, it's undeniable that she is staring directly into the camera from the moment the video starts. She never once questions why I'm filming or what I'm doing, because the reality is that every single time we recorded, I had explicit permission. Ask yourself, how could she possibly have never consented to filming when she's literally holding my phone next to her face as she sucks my dick? In the interview, she says that what really concerns her is that I wouldn't send her any
Both these people are degenerates.
any of the sexual videos we took.
I had asked him multiple times if he could please send me the videos, so like he's not the only one who has videos of me naked. And he either ignored the question or was just like, no.
As I said earlier, I was paranoid to send these videos to anyone, even her, for fear of them leaking. Weirdly, in messages at the time, she seems to actually get it, saying, I want to see them videos, goon time, before following up by saying that she actually understands why I'm scared to send them to her. Now we're going to fast forward to October 17th in our text, and Rowan says, do you ever go back and watch our videos? And I reply, yes, I do sometimes, actually. Rowan responds that she's thinking about that right now, and then says, quote, need that big white cock. It's also kind of strange to me that at the time she referred to them as our videos, but in the present she's claiming she doesn't even want them to exist. On November 6th, Rowan asked me why I never ask her for nudes. I say I have a bunch of videos already and that's why. She does not express that she has a problem with me having the videos. She doesn't complain about it. She doesn't say they were taken without her consent.
This, by the way, doesn't counter her claims that are claims, I believe, by the way, that the only way he was able to get off was by watching the videos he had made of her. I would also explain why she doesn't have any videos, although he's paranoid, so he probably wouldn't let her film, and he wanted to be the only one that actually had these videos. So I don't hear a lot here that's countering your claims that he's a freak, that he's essentially demented and a degenerate weirdo that can only get off by watching video of himself having sex and not the sex itself. So he's still a demented, degenerate freak. The defense is just that, she's also a demented, degenerate freak. Okay?
In fact, throughout the entire relationship, she was sending me nude photos of herself unsolicited every single month. Why
Yeah, I believe that.
would you send nude photos of yourself to someone you think could use them against you? Rowan personally posted dozens of screenshots of our texts, and not a single one shows her bringing up any of the videos being non-consensual. Another interesting fact is that during our breakup, she texted me a pros and cons list, which she apparently had written about me on January 4th of 2026. And in the cons section, she complains about a lot of things, but she doesn't mention non-consensual videos whatsoever. With that out of the way, we can move on to Rowan's claim that I was sexually abusive towards her. In that same pros and cons list, Rowan wrote, says he likes hurting me during sex and making me bleed. This also reflects her public claims about me, but the great irony is that I never even said this. She did. On September 14th, 2025, Rowan sent me a text saying, quote, I'm such a freak. I like when it hurts and bleeds after. Something Wong. And one of her
What? And besides the kind of childish sounding way she's writing, she likes when it hurts and bleeds. Oh my God. Maybe she could be just telling him what she thinks he wants to hear, but that is kind of damning.
public-facing posts about me, she posts an interaction which reads as follows. She says, quote, like, we don't need to do it 3 times in one day, or do it so hard I hurt and bleed. And I said, well, if you don't want to have as much sex, we don't gotta. We can do other things. And she says, okay, I like doing other things too. The way this screenshot is cropped, it comes across like I'm some, just super callous freak.
Well, I think you probably are. And I mean, dude, you gotta be aware of the fact that you being good friends with Destiny and knowing that the dude walks around wearing a butt plug, because you probably saw it firsthand before you went into the back door of this guy, says a lot about what kind of person you are, okay? The kind of company you keep says a lot about who you are, because you tend to be friends with people that are like you. So if you don't want people to think you're a sick freak, don't be friends with somebody like Destiny, yo. And talk about how he wears a butt plug, okay?
Who's brutally jackhammering her vagina like Steve mining diamonds. But in the full uncropped screenshot, her immediate...
And also don't talk the way you just talked if you want us to think you're not a sick freak, because you sound like a sick freak.
Immediate response to me after that is, I'm a freak, I say this, and as soon as I see you, I'm going to be freaky again. I can't resist. In the interview, she elaborates on this even more, specifically claiming that she would bleed almost every time we had sex.
Okay, and he would bleed the
Yes.
same.
Yikes.
And he didn't stop.
Yikes.
Yeah, I would bleed almost every time.
This is just blatantly untrue as well, and it's easy to see by going through our text messages. On August 17th of 2025, the day after my birthday, Rowan and I were planning to go to Mass, and she wanted to have sex with me. So she texted me saying, "Tom, I started my period." I was driving, so I couldn't say much, but I replied by saying, "That sucks, I'm 40 minutes away." She follows up by asking me if I mind getting my sword bloody, and I say I'll be okay. So if it wasn't already clear, she's asking me if I'm okay with getting blood on my dick. Why would this be something she's even asking if every time we have sex, I'm making her bleed? Keep in mind, this is months into us going out and being sexually active, and she's still worried that the idea of bleeding during sex would gross me out. Now, as soon as she began posting about me, people were naturally perplexed by her claim that she was bleeding from sex every single time. They asked if she had some kind of medical problem, and she says, "I have no health issue that I know of, never bled during sex before. It was the aggression. Just gave into it after a while and told him I liked it, but I bled after almost every single time."
Yeah, I mentioned that I found this very, very odd, and that if he's doing that much damage, that you're going to have scarification to the point where you ain't going to feel a damn thing at some point. So this is very strange. I thought that was questionable, and I did bring that up in my video review of the interview that Joshua Moon, goofball of Kiwi Farms, had with her. Anyway, let's continue.
I feel like most of this statement has already been dispelled, but even the smallest detail of no medical condition that I know of is also false. On September 24th of 2025, Rowan texted me saying that she's going to switch from her current birth control, Nexplanon, to the pill because she has month-long periods that cause her to bleed. So, regardless of sex, Rowan admittedly bleeds for an entire month at a time. One of Rowan's main criticisms is that I'm too rough. In fact, she describes our sexual interactions as intense, violent aggression every single time.
And Doug.
There it is, Limu, the 50-yard line!
I genuinely did think that he would maybe change and stop being so aggressive, because he told me before that he would kind of chill out, but he never did chill out, and it kept being the same very intense, violent aggression every single time.
She also alleges that I hit, choked, and beat her without asking, essentially painting me as an abusive partner.
Unfortunately, I did still stay with him, and I know a lot of people seem to have a lot of questions about that, and honestly, you were completely correct to question my judgment as to why I stayed with him, even though he was, hitting and choking and beating me.
There's this idea she's trying to paint that in the relationship, I was constantly pushing this rough, violative sex onto her, and even though she didn't like it and was being abused, she stayed with me. I've seen some people question her saying things like, "Well, if you hated it, why didn't you just leave?" But realistically, sometimes people do stay with abusive partners, and I don't want to invalidate their stories through my response. The real reason that she didn't leave is because she loved having sex with me, and throughout our entire relationship was constantly begging me to validate her fantasies. In this first screenshot here, she expresses that she is a real freak and says that she wants me to kidnap her, even saying, "I want to be tied up, taken to the woods, and pounded, so maybe there's something wrong with me." I respond by saying that we should not have sex in the woods, and she says, "You nervous?" Right here in this next one, Rowan says, "I yearn to be manhandled and led across a dark room. That's why I like you." I reply,
This is some 50 Shades of Grey stuff here. What the...
saying, "You are like a dungeon person," and she says, "You are big like a caveman and I feel small next to you." In fact, anytime I wanted to have more loving, slow, sensual intercourse with Rowan in the bedroom, she actually had a problem with that. I remember one specific instance where I was being more slow and sensual, and I remember her whispering in my ear saying, "I want you to pound me." And that's probably why on June 5th, 2025, she texted me saying, "I need to get face fucked for an hour." And I replied by saying, "Damn, exams suck." On June 7th, she texts me and says, "I am excited to get fucked borderline domestic violently." At one point in the interview, she states that one time I was angry at my ex-girlfriend, and that the next time we had sex, I was particularly aggressive. This is a very strange thing to accuse me of, given that on October 13th, Rowan says verbatim, "Sometimes I want to fight you just so you be more angry when you fuck me." She clarifies saying, "I do like that though, even without the fighting." So at every opportunity, this girl girl is publicly saying, oh my god, look at all this horrible shit he did to me. And then she's texting me that she wants me to kidnap her, tie her up, and pound her in the woods. And if anyone is putting up any resistance to that, it's me. She once again lies about weird little things in the interview. Like she says that I was her second boyfriend.
He was I guess my second boyfriend.
And when I heard this, I was very confused because she told me that I was her third. In my opinion, she said this to make herself seem less sexually experienced than she really is, to make the case stronger that I was taking advantage of her. Now, in this next post, she writes, again, I'm not alleging anything illegal, just that he would hit and choke because he was a super gooner. Sort of normalize it in my head, but it's definitely not okay to do that. So for information on how I supposedly normalize this behavior, let's go back to the beginning of our relationship and see what our conversations about sex were like. On Wednesday, May 14th, after only hanging out with Rowan once, she texted me saying she's excited to hang out with me again, and she already knows my penis is massive, without me saying anything sexual to her at this point. So as you might suspect, we did have intercourse on our second date, and after this first sexual encounter, Rowan texts me saying, quote, rape thing is so hot. I never did that before. You should tie me up next time. My response to this is consensual sex is good. And she says, you know what I meant by that. I don't know what to call it. So from the very first interaction we have, she calls our sex.
She's demented. Whoa! Hello!
Sex rape for some reason, saying how hot it is, to which I clarify that it was consensual, and she says, I know what you mean. And for the record, I never indulged in her fantasy to be tied up, just not something I was interested in any way. And we also never did anything in the woods, in case you're curious about that. To hammer this point home, let's go over some more texts where Rowan talks about sex. On Friday, May 16th, she texts me asking when I'm free, and says that she needs my, quote, big dick. And I say, don't say and she says, it is, and I need it. On May 18th, Rowan says she's not used to being with someone with as big of a dick as mine. She says that it hurt her, but she wants to do it again, and she won't be a pussy about it. Some of her public claims about me are more desperate and weird than others. Like she
I did find it interesting. He keeps going on and on about how big his, equipment is. Seems like he's trying to advertise to find himself some new chicks. Anyway, he is a degenerate, okay? But let's move on.
She complains that I didn't eat her out.
Like, he never once ate me out, but he would demand that I would constantly suck his dick. And, like, yeah.
But here is a text message of me directly telling her, look, I'm a selfish lover. And she says, it's okay. I like sucking dick more than getting eaten out. I'm a real freak. Despite her acting like I am
I think she's just telling you what you want to hear. I think she would have liked and appreciated that. I have yet to meet a broad that doesn't want a guy to do that, okay? So, yeah, I believe what she said. I still believe, yeah, it's obvious what she said is true. You are selfish. We can see that. You're a Destiny wannabe. Yeah.
am a like sexual degenerate, repeatedly doing sex acts she doesn't enjoy. Here she is saying, you match.
That doesn't, dude, you are a degenerate scumbag, okay? The issue is that she was trying to present herself as a victim and make you look worse than you actually are by saying that she was victimized, that you were somehow violent with her in a way that she didn't consent to, implied or otherwise, which isn't true. She's also a degenerate scumbag. You're both degenerate scumbags, and I don't like either one of you.
My freak, kind of. Not you're too freaky or we've been too freaky. She says that I match her freak. Here in this next one, she says, I'm getting on my knees as soon as I see you, by the way, freak mode. In this next one, I give a little bit of input. I tell her I'm thinking about her pussy. And she responds to me saying, you gonna tear it up or what? Now, my question for you and...
Do people actually talk like this? I've been with a lot of broads. I never had these kind of conversations. Not like this. What is this?
The audience would be...
This is just degenerate freak. So if you're, I'm not a degenerate freak. Never been a degenerate freak. Like attracts like. So I guess this is how degenerate freak, hedonist talk. Weird.
Do people who are into
Weird.
slow, romantic, candlelit sex describe intercourse as their pussy getting torn up? I would say probably not. Here in this next one, she says she's going to leave mass early on Sunday to go get some dick. And keep in mind, I don't want to reveal any of this information, okay? I don't want to be saying this.
Well, dude, I think you want to reveal the parts where you're talking about your big, giant equipment. I think you like that.
I don't want to be here right now, and I would never intend on sexually shaming an ex-partner. But she's gone out of her way to not only shame me, but also to lie in an effort to paint me as some gooner, freak, borderline rapist.
I do think you're a gooner freak. I don't know about the borderline R part, but you're definitely a freak.
So let's keep going. Here, Rowan makes a post saying that I'm a Patrick Bateman gooner because I flexed in the mirror after we had sex. But the strange part about this is that I have a text of her saying, quote, I keep thinking about how hot it was watching myself take your big dick in the mirror. Gooner as fuck, sorry. Reading through what she says about me publicly, it's like every accusation she makes towards me is actually some kind of confession to her own behavior. On June...
Well, yes, and she's probably deep down afraid that you might reveal these things about her and how she's a degenerate freak, and so she figured she'd beat you to the punch, maybe? Yeah.
June 25th, she texts me wondering if she can give me head after getting her wisdom teeth taken out. She obviously wouldn't be able to do that because it causes your face to swell up like a blimp. And she responds with, no, I gotta do it as much as possible before. Here, Rowan's asking me, am I the tightest, most perfect girl you ever fucked? On July 2nd, she says, I miss that big dick so much, I'm under spells. On July 5th, I bring up us wearing condoms, and Rowan says, ew, no, and then tells me that she wants me to cream pie her, and that she's a real freak. After I say happy birthday,
So she wants you to, so she's going out of her way to explicitly talk about that. So one of the points she made was that he was never able to finish inside her. Too much information, by the way. I believe that. 100%.
birthday sweetie for her 21st. She says that all she wants for her birthday is my big white...
Yeah.
In this next one, she texts me saying, I miss feeling like I'm going to break in half, not gonna lie. In this next one, she says, I like when you make me choke on it and call me a good girl. On July 23rd, she says, can I come over and suck on it Friday night? Which I don't accept. I tell her that I'm busy. She then says, I have the big white cock addiction. Interestingly enough, in this next one, she's asking me if I can have sex with her while holding her in the air, essentially, and tells me that I should try to do it. Once again, a pretty bizarre thing to ask someone to do who allegedly has been abusing you for 3 months by now with overly rough sex. On July 21st, she starts off by texting me, I hate gooner men, and then not even 1 minute later, she says, I need that big white cock. On August 23rd, she says, whenever I wake up without my morning Tom facefuck, I am sad. On September 2nd, she expresses that she wished she lived closer to me, but if she did, it would be an issue because she would want to come suck my dick all the time. On September 17th, she sends me an Instagram reel of someone praying the rosary. I don't respond, and she follows up by saying, I miss that dick so much. Here in this next photo, she sends me a picture of her in lingerie with the caption, when it's rape time, and after she said that, all I did was respond with a photo of the movie Just Friends. On Thursday, September 25th at 7:30 a.m., Rowan says, I hope you come, I got something special for our rape times. I say, change that to consensual sexual encounters, and she says, I know. She expands on this particular message and says, are you mad at me? I know it's consensual. So even as we're approaching over 4 months of being together, she's still telling me that our sex is consensual and that she likes it. Now that I've gone through a lot of our messages, I think it's pertinent that we get into the month of October. This is the month that Rowan has publicly claimed that there was one specific incident that occurred during which she asked me to stop having sex with her, and I did not. To be perfectly clear, this never happened. But just to have some fun, we can go through our text day by day in this month to see which day this horrific incident could have possibly occurred. On October 2nd, she texts me saying, you are perfect. On October 3rd and 4th, we hung out. She asked me if I got home okay, and she says that I am her formal date in her heart. She then says that she hates when anyone comments on her body, even in a positive way, and I tell her that she should eat slop and go for a walk and not worry about it, and that she is beautiful. On October 8th, she continues being sexual, complimenting my arm. She then resends me a meme that says, me if I do not have violent sex very soon. On October 8th, she also says, I miss my handsome husband. Here, I tell her I landed in Texas. She says, I miss sucking on it. She then texts me saying, you gotta start putting rape time in your reminders. On October 9th, she says that she wants to hang out. I say I arrived. On October 10th, she says, let me know when you get back safe. I always have such a fun time with you. On October 14th, she says she wishes she was waking up to me in the morning, and she then expresses sadness that I'm not moving closer to the city where she's from to live near her. She then states that her life has improved since meeting me because previously she was partying and going out, and now she spends time with me. On October 15th, she says, I started my period. I wish I could come suck on it. And that evening, she says, I would kill myself if I had to talk to any other man but you. I say, that's true. I'm a nice guy. And she says, yeah, I'm the bad guy. On October 17th, we've already read this, but this is once again where she says, do you ever go back and watch our videos? And I say, yeah, I do sometimes actually. And she responds to me that she's thinking about that right now and says, quote, need that big white cock. In the mirror, you deadass look like the Hulk compared to me. Now, one
Compared to her, because she's real tiny, but this dude is not muscular at all. What is he, about 160 pounds, soaking wet? Give me a break.
thing to note here is that at no point does she express that the videos were taken without her consent. Once again, I just want to have that hammered down here. On October 19th, she texted me saying she needs my milk right now.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like she had a problem with the videos until he dumped her, and then she had a problem with it.
Then says, I miss my perfect jacked boyfriend, and that night she sends me nudes. At 10 p.m., she sends me a photo of a guy with a clock in his hand and says, I need that dick. On October 21st, I sent her a bicep photo. She responds saying, you look good, Tom. I can't wait to suck your dick. She says, I love you. You're a great boyfriend. She then says, you never officially asked me to be your girlfriend, to which I say that we did. On October 23rd, there's proof we hung out that day. She then says, text me when you get home safe, and I say, I made it. She also texted me saying, I love when my bed smells like your musk. On October 24th, she says, good night, you're the best boyfriend ever. October 25th, she sends me a photo of herself in a deer outfit and says, meow, I miss Tom's big white dick. That night, she says, I'm going to send you ass pics tomorrow. On October 26th, we've read this one before, but here she says, next time during our epic rape time, you can tie me up. I say, you mean consensual sex, and she follows it up by saying, you know what I mean, Tom, rough sex. Once again, these are really weird messages to be sending to someone that you now claim is sexually abusing you on a weekly basis. Now that evening, the evening of October 26th, we can see that I hang out at Rowan's house and I sleep over. Then there's a text that shows that I'm leaving and mentioned that I took my friend to the hospital. On October 27th, she says that she hopes I'm doing well. She loves me so much. On October 30th, she says that we'll be married in 2 years. October 31st at 12:30 in the morning.
Married in 2 years? Dude, you were leading this broad on. Let's be honest here. You weren't serious about her. You don't want to marry her. You don't want to be with her long term. You just liked the poon. You were having fun, but you weren't serious about her. But she thought that you were serious about her, so she feels like she was led on. So, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. This is partially your fault because you did lead this broad on, okay? You did. It's obvious you did. Doesn't make it right that she would lie, and she obviously was misrepresenting. She was lying, but dude, this is what happens when you lead people on, okay? I'm just saying.
She texts me and says, I had a nightmare you broke.
And if you're not picking it up, I don't approve of this kind of behavior. This kind of casual, laissez-faire approach to sex and casual hookups. No, it's a bad idea. I don't care what age you are. You should be doing this. You're going to be hooking up with a broad like this, it should be because you're serious, because you love this person, not because you just like how she feels. This is what happens, yo. It's not right that she's lying, but dude, come on. Grow up. This guy, degenerate scumbag. Yeah, following in Destiny's footsteps. Yeah, look at his life.
Broke up with me. Oh my god. She then says that I should cut a hole in my Batman suit for my dick. On October 31st in the afternoon, she says, oh Tom.
The hell does he have a Batman suit for? What?
I yearn for the big white cock. On November 1st, at 1:20 a.m., she says, up? No good night? I love you? Yeah, it's fucking over. I tell her that I'm falling asleep, and she says, you was madly in love with her and not me. I'm gonna kill myself. I tell her, good night, I'll see you tomorrow, and I then say, do not...
Yeah, she sounds like a nut job, dude. What are you continuing to see her for? By the way, she sounded like a nut months before these messages. What are you... Oh, right, because, he's a hedonist, and she's a hedonist, and they just love how it feels. It's like a drug. They're chasing a dragon without any real attention paid to the possible consequences, i.e. fallout of their irresponsible actions. Got it.
Say anything like that ever again. Now...
Whoa. What's that? I just built a budgeting app in Base 44.
Nina just built an app.
Impossible.
Now, for a little more context on this specific message and what she's talking about here, during our entire relationship, she was extremely insecure about the fact that before I was with her, I had lived with a girl, and she wanted me to basically show more commitment in the relationship than I was willing to show, as far as like moving physically closer to her. And at a few points, she suggested that we move in together, and I...
Well, dude, I'm going to be honest. I think she just wanted you to show some kind of sign that you were more committed, because you were just popping by or having her pop by for sex and nothing more. So leading her on, essentially. So she wanted some kind of, some kind of commitment, some sign that you were more committed, that this was going somewhere more committed, which you didn't give her.
Said, it's just too soon. We're not really ready for that. I don't think that makes sense after dating for just a few months to move in together. So that's the context of this. She would constantly bring up shit and compare herself to my ex, or ex-sexual partners in general, but my ex...
This doesn't negate the possibility that you were possibly talking about this former ex a lot.
Girlfriend, and I was like, don't say stuff like that. Like, I'm dating you right now. Stop worrying about this. So later on in the night, she texts me saying, "Mass is needed. I am such a sweet girl and have love."
And by the way you're trying to present yourself as some normal down-to-earth dude here, no. You're a degenerate scumbag, son. That's what you are, okay?
Love in my heart for you, I know this. And this carries into the morning, where she says, "Hi, my sweet love." The next day around noon, she says, "Sorry for being kind of bitchy. Let me know when you're on your way." I say that I have arrived. We take a photo in our Halloween outfits. And on November 2nd, I say that I made it home. And she says that she hopes that I have a good...
Your children. This is why children should not be bebopping around and having sex, okay? You're playing with fire. You're playing with fire, okay? That's what you're doing.
Good day. So we've now made it through the entire month of October, and there's no indication of any kind of abuse, any kind of mistreatment, or even really anything negative. But almost every...
I don't think there was any abuse. There was no abuse. There was nothing non-consensual, and she was the one chasing the dragon and wanting the rough, violent ass sex. I firmly do believe that. I don't think he's guiltless either, though, in his behavior. I think they both approached this very badly. This is not how you approach, commence any kind of serious relationship, anything that's meaningful, can lead anywhere. I think you're taking something that's meant to be very serious and intimate and have meaning and purpose to it, and you're just reducing it down to its most base, degenerate, materialistic, hedonistic level, make it into something it's not supposed to be, just for physical pleasure and nothing more. The pleasure is, we're just doing it for its own sake, and not because it's representative of something more deep and meaningful, which is actually what it's supposed to be for. So I think you two are playing at adult games, you're LARPing at this stuff, you're not taking it very seriously. Meanwhile, this kind of behavior, approaching it in that way, has consequences. He doesn't seem to get that, neither does she.
Every single day, she says something about how she loves me, how I'm perfect, how everything is good, and she keeps sending me sexual stuff the entire time without me even asking. At the risk of belaboring the point, I do want to go through a few more...
And you were wrong for continuing to see her, for continuing to date her. That's what you're going to call this, because it was very obvious that she was serious, that she had feelings for you, that she was more committed, had deeper feelings for you than you had for her, so you were leading her on. Because you wanted the pee. And that's all you wanted.
Messages just for the hell of it, just so I can confidently show that she was extremely sexual the entire time and never expressed any reservations about the sex we were having. On Wednesday,
Yeah, I believe that.
November 5th, out of nowhere, she texts me saying, "I'm trying to make you nut." I just don't respond. On December 12th, she sends me nudes again. Kind of a weird thing to send to someone who apparently has sexual blackmail on you again, is it not? On December 24th, she says that I am a sweetie pie. She's grateful for me. She wants to make me nut again, in her words, and she hopes we're married for a long time. On January 2nd, she sends me a naked photo of herself again, unprompted.
Yeah, she thought this was going somewhere.
And the morning of January 8th, Rowan texts me.
So I get the sense that really what she's trying to do here is please him, because she knows how important S is to him. Yeah, she's trying to please him, make him happy.
saying that before she comes to visit me, she needs to know that my dick is working. Less than 36 hours later, I broke up with her. So as you can see, the texts don't lie. Rowan was blatantly the more sexual one in the relationship. I've produced evidence of this nearly every single week, and
Yeah, she sounds clingy. And she was getting too clingy, coming on too strong, constantly bothering him. He just got tired of it, really. Eventually, she was just coming on so much and wanted to be around so much and get more serious than he wanted. And he just got tired of it. He's like, okay, that's enough. That's enough. The pee is no longer worth all of this trouble. So he dumped her. And she took offense. She didn't like that fact. She felt like she had been led on, which to a certain extent, he had led her on. And so she lashed out by making up stories, right? Yeah, I believe that.
she didn't produce any, because there isn't any. But apart from the idea that I filmed her without her consent, and apart from the idea that I was a sexually abusive partner, she actually made some other claims as well. So another claim she made is that I encouraged her eating disorder.
Yeah, I told him very early on.
By the way, that's Joshua Moon. Look at that moon face. Oh, what a loser. Wow, that is one ugly guy.
Like, hey, I've struggled with eating issues in the past, and I'm kind of still trying to gain some weight and make sure everything's okay. And he would tell me, oh, I love how skinny you are. I like how small you are, you know. I love how your body is, skinny. And, just say all this stuff that was incredibly hard to hear.
This is also a pretty serious claim, and if true, would undoubtedly make me a pretty fucked up guy. But it's just not true. Here...
Dude, you are effed up. You are a degenerate. You are... I 100% believe that you were almost never able to get off inside her, and that you needed to watch the very video which you had just made of you two having this before you were able to get off, and you probably had to get yourself off. I 100% believe that, and you have not said anything in regards to that, nor have you tried to contradict that claim from her. So I 100% believe that. 100%. You are a sick, degenerate F. No question about that. You're just not the kind of sick, degenerate, violent F that she tried to claim you were. Okay?
I directly discourage her eating disorder, even giving her advice on gaining weight, and I say starving yourself is very bad for you. In this next screenshot, she says she used to be thick, but she self-nuked. I say you look the same, more or less. I guess you lost some weight, but I think both are attractive. In this next one, she says that she feels skinny fat. I say I don't agree, and I say that working out is good. In this next one, she sends me an image that says nothing tastes as good as skinny feels, and I say that's a sickening image. Now, for those who don't know, this is it's like a pro-anorexia slogan, I guess you would call it. Here in this next screenshot, she asked me if I'd still like her if she gained weight, and I say yes. Here in this next one, I tell her explicitly she should eat more food and drink protein shakes to gain weight, and I also tell her that gaining weight would be healthy for her, as well as saying, I just want you to be healthy.
I never understood that. How is it difficult to gain weight? I've never had any problem gaining weight. Quite the opposite. I wish I had that problem.
Here in this next one, I tell her that I find her sexy how she is, but that it could be healthy for her to gain 5 to 10 pounds. So this is now 7 instances of me actively discouraging her eating disorder, despite her lying and saying that I was egging it on. Now, one of the other allegations that Rowan has levied towards me is that I'm into age play. She's not alleging that I did it with her, she's alleging that I did it with another girl named Ellie, who I briefly talked to 2 years ago. Now, there's no proof what
Briefly talked to. He ain't being honest. You know he hit that and quit that. Come on. Briefly talked to. Come on, that's a lie of omission. We know that you banged her.
whatsoever that I did anything close
Just admit it.
to age play, but I did text her about these allegations, and she clearly states that I've never done age play. An ex-girlfriend of mine named Kai, who I dated for 3 years, also publicly posted on Twitter saying that I never abused her and that we never did anything related to age play. So this brings the total counter up to 5 people: Rowan, Katie, Ellie, Kai, and another random girl I banged a year ago named Maddie, who for some reason came out in the midst.
You'll admit you banged that one because that one isn't into trying to present herself as younger than she actually is, or too young, as it were. I see. But you won't admit to banging the one that actually tries to present herself as underage, or some have claimed she tries to present herself as such. Yeah. This guy likes to play fast and loose with the truth. There's no question about that.
of all of this to post pictures of herself in my house. And all of these people say that I never was into this fetish with them. The closest thing I've ever engaged in when it comes to age play is that sometimes girls do call me daddy during sex. It's a little embarrassing given that I am me. I accept that it's something people are going to see as a little bit strange.
Son, you're a Fruit Loop. You're probably secretly gay, closeted gay. Present yourself as bi, and you've probably had sex with Destiny. This attempt to try and present yourself as somewhat normal comes across as disingenuous and just a bull-faced lie. Okay?
All I can really do at this point is accept that it's something that I've done, and I think that Rowan should accept it about herself too, given that she also called me daddy during sex and over text repeatedly. In the same vein as this accusation, Rowan stated, "One more thing to add I thought was odd. Never really expressed any interest in Hello Kitty or that type of e-girl stuff, but I had like one Hello Kitty figure in my car. As a gift, Tom bought me Hello Kitty pajamas and a bunch of Hello Kitty stuff." So
Yeah, I pointed this out.
Rowan essentially wants you to believe that I'm pushing Hello Kitty onto her as if I have some kind of weird fascination with it. But the truth is that I am a 23-year-old man, and I don't give a fuck about Hello Kitty.
I don't think you're a man. I think you're LARPing as a man. I think you're a child. There's nothing manly about you. You don't act like a man. You like to have sex with dudes, and you don't really know who you are. And I think of a man as someone who has a strong, grounded sense of self. You're not a man. Stop calling yourself that. And that pathetic peach fuzz on your face that you're trying to grow to make yourself look more like a man, it's just pathetic. Pathetic! Stop it.
Okay, the only reason I bought her anything Hello Kitty themed at all, which was once, by the way, was because she frequently expressed interest in it. Here she is sending me a photo with a Hello Kitty figurine next to her printer. Here she is sending me a photo with a hand-drawn and colored Hello Kitty image on her wall. Yeah, she made these herself. Here, in regards to her decorating my room, she says, "No Hello Kitty?" with a frowny face, and I say, "Correct." And something
So she's a liar. We agree on that. She's lied about a lot of stuff.
interesting about these texts is that she shows that she has a poster of the movie Lolita on her wall. I wonder what the movie Lolita could possibly be about. This film?
Yeah, a lot of her accusations against you were just pure projection on her part. We get it. You're still a scumbag degenerate.
Was about a middle-aged professor who is sexually attracted to adolescent girls he calls nymphettes. He rents a room in the house of a young widow to get closer to her 14-year-old daughter, Dolores Hayes Lowe, whom he calls Lolita. Obsessed with the girl, he eventually gains control over her after he takes her cross-country with him. Rowan even says that I should watch this movie, to which I reply that I feel like it's a movie adult men aren't supposed to see. In this next screenshot, Rowan asks me, if I start dressing like a weird Hello Kitty e-girl, would you still fuck with me? And I replied, no, I don't want you to do that. I find it kind of repulsive. Here, Rowan is texting me upset that she has to take down all of the Hello Kitties from her dorm room. And this next one is probably the strangest reference to Hello Kitty out of all of them. Here, she's sending me a video that says, get you a man that takes you to the Hello Kitty hotel. And under it, she writes, imagine the rape here. And I say, I will not imagine. Now, with some of the more insane projections and lies out of the way, I'd like to get into some strange details that Rowan also decided to lie about for whatever reason she may have. One thing that
A lot of these lies that she told her is just, in her mind, you making her feel self-conscious about her own degeneracy and her own, weird fetishes and such.
a lot of people
Because you weren't into them and you were actively repulsed by them, as you said.
pointed out that's strange is that Rowan had taken a photo of us matching on Tinder before we met in person.
Yeah, I took a picture of a match because I could kind of tell there was like something weird about this guy. Like I didn't know if he was famous or whatever. And also,
You were right. There's a lot weird about this guy.
I did that to other people as well on Tinder.
Just like everybody you meshed with to like gossip with, like girlfriends.
Yeah, like a couple of them. But yeah, he seemed like kind of weird. So I took pictures of our match.
She's also stated repeatedly that she's not a very online person multiple times throughout her testimony. But the wild thing about this is, Rowan had sent me a message on my YouTube connected Instagram all the way back on February 21st of 2024, 15 months before matching me on Tinder, where she said, you have to do a video on this crazy guy on Twitter who only has like 3,000 followers, but this man is a menace. I even confronted her about this when we first hung out, because I found it very strange that she lied to my face when she first met me and said she didn't know who I was. I said, hey, I looked at our messages on Instagram and saw you DM me over a year ago. Rowan said, oops, yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't want to tell you, but I watched one of your vids a while ago and thought you were cute, but I thought it would be awkward.
I know. See, I question this myself, that she just hooked up with him, that he was a random find on Tinder. I was very, very suspect of this, and I made it very clear that I did not believe that she did not know who he was. You go watch my video review of her interview with the Joshua Moon goofball from Kiwi Farms. It's very obvious that she knew exactly who he was, and she was lying when she said that she didn't. He was just some random meet on Tinder. I never had any idea who he was. That was obviously BS.
I responded, that's okay, I was just surprised. She replied, I know I probably look crazy. I said,
You are.
I mean a little bit, it's okay. I just wish you told me, that's all.
But he's a little nutty himself. As I've always said, like attracts like.
She answered, I didn't want to because I thought it would be weird. I'm sorry. Kind of lied about some stuff. I was like a niche internet micro-celebrity on Twitter for a little bit too. I'm chronically online and didn't want to admit it, lol. I've gotten better about it. Once again, this is just another detail that it doesn't even make sense to publicly lie about, but it's just one of those things that makes me question her intentions throughout.
Well, her intentions all along were to get with somebody, to get with you specifically. She knew who you were. I don't doubt that she possibly came across you on Tinder, maybe because she was specifically looking for you. Maybe she wanted to look like it was some kind of organic meeting. But it turned out, you found out after doing a little, internet sleuthing of your own, that she actually had tried to DM you before, and that she knew exactly who you were, and this attempt to try and make it look like the meeting was somehow organic was her just trying to hide her true motives and intent, which was to get with some famous rich dude for clout, for attention, to feel validated. Yeah, she was trying to hide her true intent. Yeah, she's. I think we can agree she's not an honest person. Okay.
The entire relationship looking back. Publicly, she's also misrepresented the end of our relationship. In the interview, it stated that our breakup took place in December, and that after that, she realized how bad it was, and she felt the need to contact Katie, who we're gonna get into later. This is blatantly untrue. We broke up on January 10th of this year, 2026, and she began posting about me on January 14th, literally days later. She says the breakup was kind of mutual, an idea that is just bitterly ironic because
that's insane. It's never mutual. That's total bunk, man. That's some Seinfeld voodoo BS. No, it's never mutual. Come on.
That's not the case. Immediately after I told Rowan that I wanted to break up with her, she began threatening to post about me online, and even began attempting to blackmail me into having sex with her again. I don't know what you want me to say to you. I just want to move on from our relationship and have you go be in your corner. You can meet other guys and it'll be fine. I'll go meet other girls. We'll just break. We'll break up.
No, you won't, because I'm gonna make it hard for you to ever be in a relationship.
Why?
She's the blackmailer. See? Pure projection. Oftentimes, people accuse other people of what they themselves are, or have done, or will do, or have the intention to do.
Because you
believe all woman.
You don't deserve one.
Wow.
Why?
She's crazy.
Because you're a piece of shit.
Why?
Because you
use me for sex.
Our whole relationship, you act like everything is all about you the whole time.
It probably is all about him. So you should have broken up with him. But you wanted to be with him. He was powerful. He was famous. He had clout. And it made you feel more valid, more important. Like you had more value, more worth. And you're super insecure. So that's so flattering to you that he would be with you. It's your choice, honey. Yeah. You chose to be with this guy who was obviously a malignant narcissist. He's clearly narcissistic and clearly all about him. You chose him, didn't you? You have no responsibility? Of course not. She's a woman. Poon equals no accountability. Did you know that, Tom? It's all your fault, Tom. You have a big D. That means you're big responsible. The bigger your D, the less responsible I am, because I have a poon. Which is the absence of D.
Okay.
Wow. She's nuts. She's nuts.
you don't give a fuck. You,
Boy.
like, you're just an awful guy, and I'm so sorry that your mom raised you. She seemed like a nice lady, but clearly she did something very wrong.
By the way, I would have hung up at this point. I wouldn't be having this conversation anymore. I guess he knew deep down that he needed some, protection, right? Some evidence of her dysfunction for later on, in case she, tried to claim he'd done or said something or acted in a certain way. Yeah.
Okay, Rowan, I just want to move on and have my life, and you'll move on and have your life. And we can be in our own corners. We don't have to do damage to each other. We don't have to cause each other any more anguish, okay?
I just want to see you again, though.
Wow, didn't you wait, now she wants to see him again. So you feel sorry that his mother raised him. He's such a horrible person, but you want to see him again. Wow. This chick's crazy. She's crazy.
Do you think we'll ever be able to see each other?
After the way these conversations have gone today, I really don't think so.
Why?
Get Ultra delivered.
She's still up.
Is she kidding? Why? Wow. Yeah, can anybody say sociopath? Why? I don't understand. All I did was spend 2-3 hours straight insulting you. Why would you not want to see me again?
Because you're, threatening to blackmail me?
I'm not. Well, if you don't come see me, then
Gaslighting.
I will.
I stated blatantly that I did not want to have sex with her.
Wait,
I
say
did.
that again?
After the way these conversations have gone today, I really don't think so.
Why?
Because you're, threatening to blackmail me?
I'm not. Well, if you don't come see me, then I will.
I stated blatantly that I did not want to have sex with her. I didn't want to be with her anymore. I just wanted out of the relationship.
You finally came to your senses. Unfortunately, it was a little too late, pal. A little too late. Way too late.
This is something she was completely unwilling to.
This is what happens when you live your life in a very irresponsible manner, just running around and sticking your D in every crazy knothole in the fence that you see. This is what happens, pal. You're partially to blame as well for going around and banging these types of broads, okay, and leading them on. You shouldn't have gotten involved with this chick in the first place. That's on you, buddy. Her lying is on her. But that part where, what are you doing involved with yourself? Why are you getting involved with these crazy broads? That's on you, buddy.
To accept, and that's why after I stopped talking to her, she proceeded to call me over 30 times and texted me 80 times with no response. She is publicly claiming to be a victim of sexual abuse while begging me to fuck her again.
You've done all this weird shit. I don't like it. You're so weird. You treat me badly, especially during sex. And over the phone, I just listed everything that he had done wrong, and he was like, well, you can leave me if you want. And I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna leave you.
Oh, so it really upset her that he dumped her, right? Because she's so hot. The better looking they are, guys, the crazier they are. Okay?
That's basically what happened.
But there was no specific did you guys talk at all between breaking up and then?
Tom and I?
Yeah.
I don't believe so, because I blocked him.
Even this detail is also so insane. While it is true that once she started to lose her mind, I did stop talking to her, she continued speaking at me,
Let's be honest, pal. She was always nuts. You just ignored it because, she was throwing it at you.
between begging me to forgive her for breaking up with her, saying she wanted to have sex with me again, and sending me psychotic text messages filled with lies that she came up with once I dumped her. Now, with Rowan dealt with, the next person I'd like to address is Clorox Katie. Katie's a girl I had a brief sexual relationship with 2 years ago, and she began posting about me on the same day as Rowan. Now, back when we were hanging out, she flew all the way from California to Maine to hang out with me twice. In the interview, she describes her time with me as the worst experience of her life.
And then you fly back, and how did that go? How long did you stay?
Horrible. That was the worst experience of my life, I think.
And she also took to the forum to make some posts about me. Yes, Tom is extremely harsh during sex. I've been down the kink roads in my life, and how he acts is actually just evil and almost sadistic. Not even kinked up, just actually a Patrick Bateman-type gooner. When asked how things between us ended, here is what she had to say. I just truly thought he was a cringe who definitely was going to beat me later if I stayed around. We only had a 2-month fling, but even my insane ass was scared of how he acted, and he was also just stupid. I hated conversation with him.
Well, you are admitting you're insane and that you're into kinky stuff, so I take what you say automatically just from that with a grain of salt.
He was just extremely weird to me and also evil as fuck during sex. Naturally, people asked her why she hadn't reported me to the police, and her response was, I thought about the police and looked into it, but again, it being across my own state lines and in Maine, it would have had to been filed there, and I lived on the opposite side of the country, so it just didn't seem feasible. These claims are once again so absurd to me that the best way to dispel them is to just look through our messages together. In these two DMs, you see that Katie comes to visit me for the first time on January 20th and leaves on January 23rd. She comes to visit me, she says she's excited, she then goes home, and after leaving my house the first time, she immediately texted me saying, I had so much fun, Tom, you can kidnap me whenever. I feel so alone in my bed. She then says that she...
This chick's bringing up the kidnapping stuff as well. That leads me to believe that he's the one into the kidnap R stuff kind of play, fetish stuff. And not the broads, and they're just saying that to make him happy, going along with it because they want to be with this famous e-celeb. So I think that him saying that these broads were into that stuff and not him, I don't know about that. Hard to say here. I think they're both into this kind of stuff, honestly. Both the chicks he gets with and himself. And maybe they're just going along to make him happy, and of course they're responsible as well. That is consent on their parts as well. But I think they're both the brothers he's getting with and him are degenerate freaks, okay?
has to come back. Now, days after coming the first time, she sends me nudes. Once again, this is kind of a weird thing to send to somebody that you're claiming is recording sex with you without your consent. Why would you send this person nudes? She then sends me nudes a second time, says she needs it, says so starved, so...
I'd like to see these nudes.
So deprived, and she says that she misses me so much. I say, let's hang out in March. She says I'm down, but waiting until March will be so hard. On February 1st...
By the way, did you pay for these lights? Pathetic, desperate, gooner behavior is what that is. Degen.
First, Katie says that she misses me. On February 2nd, she slides up on my story and says
ugly
she is...
Dude. Look at that, Tom Peck. You are an ugly dude. Let's just be honest here. You are an ugly guy. These broads are with you because you're famous, because you supposedly have money, because you're making them feel special, being with a famous guy. It's clout chasing, it's validation. It's definitely not because of your looks, buddy, okay?
Counting down the days until she can see me.
And by the way, isn't it pathetic that you want to be with broads when you know they're only with you because of your fame and your fortune and not because of any character traits or shared values or shared virtues? That's pathetic, pal. I think that's sick and disgusting and sad.
Again. She then says that she needs to see me ASAP, and she misses all the things about me. On February 4th, she says...
The money, the gifts, the attention, the validation she gets from being with a famous dude. You think broads that were banging Danny DeVito were with him because he was good looking? You're a little taller, but you're equally hideous, okay? Let's be honest here. One could argue Danny DeVito's a better looking guy than you. You're just taller, but not by much. What are you, 5'8"?
Says she wishes that she woke up cuddling me. On February 8th, she says she wants to have sex with me again. Once again, this is...
Let's be honest, these bros are just affronted because an ugly guy like you dumped them, okay? That's a lot of what it is, okay?
After the first time we hung out, February 18th, she says she's going to swallow me, and she then sends me naked photos of herself willingly. Keep in mind, once again, she's accusing me of recording sex with her without her consent, and then she keeps sending me naked photos of herself. She even sent me a video, by the way. She says, I need you right meow. I need you ASAP. February 22nd and February 24th, we have I miss you and are you home yet? February 28th, she slides up on my story and says, I'm gonna suck you so good. She then says...
So he clearly has a type. These sound like the same broad. This sounds like that Sacramento chick. They're like the same chick.
I need to see you now more than ever. Lots of hugs and hot sex. On March 2nd, she says, I like you lots. and I reciprocate. She says she can't wait to see me again. She then says that she's excited to see me that coming Saturday. In the next screenshot, I say, "Your pussy's gonna be so sore." And Katie responds with, "Good thing we had to wait a while, because then I can take a beating." She then says, "I'm ready for you to throw me around." Now, when we were discussing how many days she would want to stay, she says, "As long as you want, and that we'll have so much sex and party so hard." And she then once again expresses how excited she is. On March 7th, she sends me a barrage of unsolicited sexual photos, including her with BDSM leather on her butt. On March 8th, she says all she can think about is me, and she can't wait for my dick to be down her throat. And on March 10th at 7 in the morning, which is 4 a.m. her time, she says that she is so excited to see me that she cannot sleep. Now, with the Instagram messages out of the way, we can move on to the text messages. So on March...
Yeah, these don't sound like unwilling participants who are getting D'd down against their consent, and that he's being too harsh with them or something. It doesn't sound like that at all.
March 10th, this is the second visit, right? Prior to getting there, she says that she is starving for me. Now, March 15th, this is when she leaves. She
Wants a Gucci handbag.
She says, "I still
Ain't nobody starving for this guy."
have her toothbrush, but that I have to let her come back." Now, keep in mind, Katie, in her own words, said that this second time visiting me was the worst experience of her entire life.
How long did you
That might actually be her being honest, and the text messages you're getting from her could quite possibly be lies. Very likely, in fact.
Horrible. That was the worst experience of my life, I think.
I think a lot of these text messages are these women just shining him on and telling him what they think he wants to hear. This guy is hideous. He's quite ugly. And it's all just a bunch of gaslighting BS, a lot of these messages, I think. I do believe when she says it's a horrible experience that she had. I do believe that. What I don't believe is that he was in some way, shape, or form doing things that they weren't consenting to. That I don't believe.
She basically describes being physically abused in the interview.
Yeah, Tom, you are deluding yourself. Okay, when they were talking about having a horrible time and she's talking about it was the worst experience, you should believe that. You are a very ugly guy. You are not attractive. You're at best a 4. And you need to realize that these chicks are only getting with you because you're famous and it's believed that you have money, which I don't even believe you have very much of, considering you're a renter.
She even says that while we were having sex, she would...
If you had all that much money, you would have bought a house by now. You wouldn't be renting from anybody. Anyway, let's continue.
would ask me to stop doing something, and I wouldn't. But that did not happen. You may also
Oh, I believe that didn't happen. Absolutely.
recall her stating that she...
What I don't believe is all these text messages and DMs talking about how they so wanted to be with you and you were so great at this, you were great at that, and they had so much fun. Those were lies, okay? They were lying to you, pal. You're an idiot to believe it.
ended things with me because I was such an insufferable person to be around.
I do believe that. I believe you are insufferable. Just watching this video, you're insufferable. I can hardly suffer bear watching you. Your delusion is so strong.
Claims that after the second
And you're also a hideous troll. So there's that.
trip, she began to realize she was a victim.
Yeah, and that's kind of like when things really started piecing together to me that I was like, wait, I think I am a victim right now. Like,
The part that's the victim is they didn't get what they wanted. They didn't get your troll ass to get with them long-term, marry them, and give them the cash and prizes that they thought they deserved as the hotties that they were, bowing down and deigning to be with this ugly bridge-dwelling troll that you are, living under bridges, troll-looking guy that you are. How dare you think you're better than them? How dare you think you're above them? How dare you get with such goddesses and not give them your time and commit to them and give them the cash and prizes they deserve for deigning to be with your ugly ass. So, yeah, now, of course, they view themselves as a victim for not getting what they wanted.
something's not right here.
In her words, this is why she stopped talking to me. She says
Yeah, something's not right. What's not right is, well, how dare he not get with me? That's not right. I'm way above him. How dare he not get with me?
that she was scared of me. She said she was scared that I would beat her. Well, on March 20th, which is after the second visit, she texted...
I don't believe that at all. The violence and all that stuff about the talk about the violence and all that, those were all lies, obviously.
me saying, Tom, I really like spending time with you.
Don't believe that.
But I'm kind of worried about if you actually like me or just using me. Lol.
This is just her projecting what she's actually doing. The reason she fears that you're using her is because she's actually using you. This is projection, pure and simple. People who use others are afraid everybody else is using them. They're telling on themselves in this case.
I'm just BPDing, and so I'm tweaking and need reassurance. Are you just having fun with me, or do we have something? To which I respond, well, I like you, and I think you're cool, and...
The reason she's asking this is because she's a total fake, fraud, phony, and all her reasons for being with you are totally, completely disingenuous. She's just there for the money and the clout. So she's wondering, oh, is he maybe doing the same thing?
Perhaps we even have something. However, I would make a bad boyfriend, so I don't really want to date anyone officially, I guess. Yeah. I was abundantly clear with my intentions with her. I did not want anything serious at that time. But apparently, this is the period she began to realize the true extent of my abuse, which is...
Well, she wasn't going to be able to get you to commit. She wasn't going to be able to get you to become the doting boyfriend that spent tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on her and bought her a Maserati. So, yeah, she's a victim of you in her mind.
Is probably why, after we had already hung out the second time, Katie tries to arrange a third meeting with me, saying she wishes that she was in Ohio, where I was at the time, and I did not reciprocate. After this proposition, she slid up on my Instagram story 12 times over the next 10 months, and I did not slide up on her story once, not a single time. So ask yourself, do these texts sound like a girl texting a guy that she finds evil and sadistic, a guy that she was even debating going to the police about? Because to me, it seems crystal clear that she...
No, that was just her way of getting back at you for not getting involved with her in a serious long-term committed relationship, as she thought you should have jumped at the opportunity because she's so above you looks-wise, which she is, by the way. You're hideous, pal. You're on the path to becoming Destiny 2.0 if you're not already there, okay? We all know what he looks like. You both are actually kind of on par looks-wise, though you're not as skinny fat as Destiny. You're well on the way. You're certainly as big a degenerate, or nearly so.
Enjoyed our time together and even wanted to hang out a third time. You got to keep in mind here, she flew across the entire North American continent.
That's because you paid for it. You paid for her to fly. I don't think she would have made the trip if she had to pay for it.
Twice, from California to Maine to see me. After the second time, she wanted me to be her boyfriend.
Of course, you're a simp. You look like a good, a good option. A blue pill beta buck deluxe. It was well beneath her, so she figured she could manipulate cash and prizes out of you. Yeah, when she couldn't, well, now she's a victim.
Didn't want to, and she then repeatedly made efforts to contact me and hang out with me again. Now, to close off the video, I think I'd like to...
Of course, because it was a blow to her ego. This guy, this ugly guy that looks like he lives under a bridge is not jumping at the opportunity to be with me. Oh, I've got to arrange things in such a way that, mollifies my ego, and then I'll dump him instead of him dumping me, and then I'll feel better. And, I won't feel like I'm a hot-looking broad that got dumped by an uggo.
Share some interesting texts that Rowan sent me about her dear friend Katie, as they're both accusing me of... whatever it is they're even trying to say at this point. After she saw that I was following Katie on Instagram, she messaged me on December 8th saying, "Did you know Clorox Katie tried to fuck Jet Neptune? Those girls too make themselves easy targets with the hair and piercings because they have sexual trauma." She then says, "They complain about sexual assault a lot because they will fuck anything that breathes." 1 month and 2 days later, I broke up with Rowan, and in the middle of her unhinged tirade about me, she told me that she would be messaging as many girls I had been with as possible to try and find whatever dirt she could so that she could run to the internet about it. Now, I've seen a lot of people say things to the effect of, Tom's a hypocrite. He gooned. And you're right. I did goon. Okay. I did not stop gooning. So maybe in the end, the hats are more relevant than ever. Anyway.
Friend, I think you, to a certain extent, got what you deserve. Not fully. Because they lied about things that are punishable criminally. They said that you did things that never occurred. They said flat out, he assaulted me, abused me, but obviously, even in the situations that they were defining, there was implied consent involved. But obviously, just from the messages he showed us, they were just full out lying. I believe that. I don't think he was abusive in any kind of non-consensual way. That doesn't negate the probability that he is probably sadistic. If he's into R play and kidnap play, which it looks like he was. Both these broads were into it. He was talking about being into it. One of the broads was talking about wanting to do it again and implying that it was him that had originally initiated it. I believe he's into all this kind of stuff. This sadomasochistic BDSM kind of role play fetish stuff. Absolutely. I think he's absolutely into all that stuff. I think he's a freak. I think he's a degenerate. I think he's just a base, vile creature. He's obviously into dudes as well. I think he's closeted gay. Certainly bi, at the very least. And he's a piece of garbage. I think he's a piece of garbage. I think he's a piece of filth. I don't think he's a man. I think he's a little boy who is addicted to candy, sweets, chasing a dragon, pleasure, chasing, hedonism. He's just a piece of garbage. I really think he's a piece of crap. And when you're a piece of crap, piece of garbage into a piece of crap, piece of garbage type pursuits, this is what you get. Broads that, when they don't get what they want, are going to come after you, and they're going to make shit up. But you're choosing these broads, and you're using them. They're using you. You could say the using is mutual, but this is what you get when you get with those kind of chicks. So they're responsible for their actions, but he's also responsible for choosing them. When you choose to be with these types of broads, this is what you get. But maybe you need to stop making such bad choices. The only problem is they're pretty much just as objectionable as he is, and he's not going to find a broad that is going to not be this way, because that's how he is to a large extent. So I think this guy's a piece of crap, piece of garbage. To a certain extent, he got what he deserved. Not fully, though. I don't agree with these kind of lies and misrepresentations these broads have done, but that's when you get with chicks like that. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Did Turkey Tom here get what he deserved? At least partially. Because that's what you get. When you hold an M80 in your hand and you close it into a fist, you lose your fingers. Every time. So don't do that. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like, subscribe, give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment here. It's good for the algorithm. And on that note, I'm out of here. I am the Realist, and I wish you all a good and pleasant day. Take care. Yeah, this guy. Goofball. He's a total goofball, this freaking guy. Turkey Tom. He's a turkey, all right. Like, dude, what are you thinking? All right, let me see if we get any comments. Brother Weaver says, Tarl edits free works on alchemy. That's it. He does. That's all he does? I thought didn't he say he wrote books too? Lady Luck says, now he's going to be getting the snake in his cell. Yeah. Kalashnikova on X, Sticks typed something about, okay, I think I already read that. Lisa Goebel, Tarl fled Vermont to New York. I already read that too. Arena 1869. Sticks has been posting. Okay, wait. Orange G. I don't think I like the old man here. Talking about me? I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, I guess that's going to be it. I've been on a while now. 3 hours. Oh, geez, 3.5 hours. All right, I'm going to head out, guys. So I got to get some food in me. I'm starting to get hungry. I've been broadcasting here too long. All right, guys. I don't know when I'll be back again. Hopefully a few days. We'll see. If you follow, you'll hopefully be told when I'm online. I wish there'd been more comments, but what are you going to do? All right, I'm out of here, guys. Good luck. Take care. Till next time, have a good one.